guys! Welcome back to Banter with Babs, where I talk about all things LSAT and law school. Y'all know what this is. Today, I'm going to walk you guys through how to create your very own LSAT bullet journal tracker. This has probably been my most highly requested video since this past winter, and I'm so excited to finally get this out to you guys today. Here's a throwback to my original LSAT tracker. This baby got me through a lot of good times and a lot of bad. I have the original video of this LSAT tracker in the description box in case you guys wanted to check that out. They say that writing down your goals on a regular basis increases your likelihood of achieving them by more than 40%, and my journey from a 161 to a 175 is definitely a full-fledged testament to that. Looking back at my old tracker, I saw a lot of areas for improvement in terms of clarity and efficiency. So, for the new year, I decided to revamp my old templates and share with you guys 5 new bullet trackers to help you guys crush the LSAT. In today's video, I'll be using my 2019 to 2020 Academic Passion Planner in bold brown in the size medium, a Unigel mechanical pencil, a 6-inch clear grid ruler, Modliner markers, a Sacra Pigma micron pen, and a Tombow dual brush. Now that we have the basics down, let's get planning. Before using any bullet journal, it really helps to get a lay of the land and count the number of grids available vertically and horizontally to figure out how to space out your designs. For our first template, we have a year-at-a-glance calendar. A lot of planners come with these pre-printed, but it can be really fun to make your own. I start out my design with a simple 2021 title. I'm not a calligraphy aficionado, so I definitely need some help from my ruler when drawing this out. A year-at-a-glance calendar is great for tracking your LSAT practice because it consolidates all your progress on one page. After drawing the title, we're ready to fill in the calendar. I didn't write out in pencil where all the numbers should go in advance because honestly that's way too much work. However, I did mark in advance where the last day of the month should land to make sure I filled in the calendars correctly. Filling in the days of the month can get pretty time-consuming, but honestly, I find it quite meditative to lean into the process. Once your numbers are drawn in, you have the option of adding borders to each calendar month. I know it's totally on trend right now to leave the borders off, but I think drawing the boxes is so satisfying. Maybe it's because I have a need for order in my life. You can psychoanalyze me later. Next up, I'm going to input my data from the year 2018 to 2019 to give you guys a taste of what my LSAT routine was like. I chose the color gold to mark the days I drilled for 30 minutes or more. The color red here marks my goal LSAT testing date. Notice I had my lazy days. It's normal to not squeeze in your drills every single day. No one is perfect. Last but not least, I added touches of gray in the title and headers to balance out the bright tones of gold on this page. Here's the final look. Next up, we have a monthly LSAT tracker. This monthly tracker is designed to visually represent exactly what type of drill you did each day of the month. At the top of this tracker is a key for each type of LSAT drill you can do: logical reasoning, logic games, and reading comprehension. Below the key is a header for the days of the week and squares to represent each day of the month. Each square is sliced into 3 neat rows. This template was actually inspired by my girl, Caitlin's Corner, so check out her channel for more bullet journal inspiration. Once your template is ready, it's time to add some data, which means adding some color. In my key, I picked gold for logical reasoning, green for logic games, purple for reading comprehension, and an optional gray for lazy days. In each square, I will fill it with the corresponding color to the drill I did that day. Again, I'm inputting real data from January 2019. Overall, I'm very satisfied with how these 2 bird's eye view LSAT trackers came out. The color palette is super soothing to me, and the organization of everything brings me so much joy. I hope it brings you joy too. Alright, time to start afresh. On the last 2 pages, I made a unique title for each page. This time, we're going to go big or go home. Let's take the title across the entire span of the 2 pages we have available to us. It's going to take me a while to draw and color in all this fancy font because I really want to get the lines perfectly crisp and the curves perfect. I have 2 quick tips for drawing titles before we move on to the next tracker. Number 1. Lightly trace out your titles in pencil before drawing over your designs in pen. I use a 0.5 mechanical pencil for this purpose. Number 2. Get some creative inspiration. One of my favorite places to check out is the Creative Marketplace. They have so many beautiful fonts on their website that you can use as a reference for your bullet journaling. I personally bought a ton of cute fonts and designs off this website for my personal projects. The font I based my design off of is called Merry Christmas. Does it look similar? Now that the title is complete, let's move on to the practice test tracker, PT tracker for short. This is the new and improved PT tracker from my previous video. It's designed to track the score and date of each practice test you take, as well as the number of questions you got wrong in each section. This table has 31 rows and 16 columns total. The 31 rows accommodate enough rows for practice tests 60 through 89. I made 3 columns for logical reasoning section 1, 3 columns for logical reasoning section 2, 3 columns for logic games, 3 columns for reading comprehension, 1 column for your first take score, 1 column for the date of your first take, and 1 column for the date of your optional retake. These 16 columns in total provide you with enough space to track data for 3 rounds of takes for each practice test. Disclaimer, I am definitely not saying you should take practice tests 60 through 89 3 times over. That would be totally unnecessary. I put the extra columns in there in case you want to retake a particular LSAT section that you didn't do very well on for a future drill. The data you see me inputting here is my real data from 2018 through 2019. The negative numbers under each column represent how many questions I got wrong for that section. My score and accompanying date are on the left. Whenever I take a practice test in full, I love to color it in gold. It is so satisfying to see your PT tracker light up over time. Some days, that was the only thing that encouraged me to keep practicing. For the header, I color-coded LR gold, LG green, RC purple, the score red, and the date gray. Moving on to the next page, I have 2 line graphs prepared for you guys. The top line graph is for tracking reading comprehension progress, and the bottom line graph is for practicing practice test progress. The y-axis for the top graph represents the number of questions I got wrong for that RC section, hence the negative signs in front of the numbers. The y-axis for the bottom graph represents possible LSAT scores. The x-axis for both graphs represents practice tests 60 through 88. I came up with this idea when I was feeling really frustrated with my progress in the reading comprehension section of the LSAT. It felt like whenever I had a win, it would always be followed with a regression. I wanted to track visually if I was getting anywhere with it, so came the birth of the reading comprehension line graph. The nice thing about having the graphs right next to the practice test table is that you can easily transfer the data over. I didn't take my practice tests in order, so to keep track of when I took each practice test, I wrote the date next to each data point. Looking at the final line graph, my RC progress was still a hot mess. I hope this motivates you guys out there to not give up. If my RC progress can be a disaster and I can make a 175, you can do the same. Just so you guys know, this data wasn't the end-all be-all before my July LSAT. I stopped recording my progress at the end of May, so I had an extra 2 months of practice not recorded here before I reached 175. The finishing touches for this page are gray marker accents for the title. Here's the final product. I needed to use whiteout in some spots along the way, but honestly, mistakes are the bread and butter of bullet journaling. You just gotta roll with it and have a good time. Phew, one more LSAT tracker to go. The last official tracker I have planned for you guys is the review tracker. This tracker is for the elite, the data-driven, and the 120% committed. These tables are designed to break down your exact stats for each section of a practice test. When drawing each table, you want to give yourself as much room as possible. Long term, someone who decides to use this tracker will need to reserve several pages depending on how many practice tests they plan to take. Let's break down my shorthand for each table. For the logical reasoning tables, the left column tells you what test you're working with. 60.1 is my shorthand for practice test 60, the first LR section. The right column contains questions I struggled with the most and what type of questions they were. This is just an illustration. I don't actually know if question 5 on 60.1 was a parallel reasoning question. If you don't want to write down the types, you can do what I did in the second LR table, where I just wrote down the question numbers. For the logic game table, 60.1 represents the first game, 60.2 represents the second game, etc. Next to each game is the number I got wrong for that game. The same shorthand applies to the reading comprehension table, except applied to passages instead of games. Last but not least, I made a little scroll design with some of my favorite motivational quotes to share with you guys. Quotes are what personally make me really happy, but feel free to get creative here. Maybe your thing is a picture, a newspaper clipping, or a poem. All the quotes I chose here have a common theme, which is focus on the two things that really matter when it comes down to the LSAT: hard work and your attitude. The LSAT is about your spirit as much as it is about your smarts. You got this. Here's the final flip through of my LSAT layouts. If you end up using any of these layouts, please tag me on Instagram at banterwithbabs so I can celebrate your work. Feel free to get creative here too. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. If you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe to support my channel. As always, please comment down below if you have any questions about my layouts, the LSAT, or how Harvard Law is going. Talk to you guys next time. Bye!